Hello, this is Josh Steltner, and today we're going to be talking about redirects in Nuxt. There's primarily two different ways to do that. The first one is server middleware, and the second is middleware. Now, the big difference between the two of these is that server middleware is ran only on the server, whereas middleware is ran on both client and the server. The first link on the top, we only have a server middleware hooked up. So if you look at the code in our Nuxt config, we just have server middleware defined. And you can put it anywhere you want, really. And I just have mine set for server middleware and then my file name. And the middleware has to be in the middleware directory. And so that's where that one is. Let's take a look at the code for server middleware. Here I have a hard-coded redirect that is a 301 from the old page 1 to new page 1. So let's take a look at how that actually works. What I'm actually going to do is hit the page exactly as a robot would. So Google, Bing, or a user following a link is going to hit it with that old page right in the URL. So I'm just going to go to this new tab, type in my local host. I'm going to do old page 1. I'm going to hit enter. And voila, there we go. It loads it all up. You can see the URL is page 1 now, and we have my nifty page 1. Now, I wanted to demonstrate the difference here is if you go back to the home page and click on a link to old page 1 to see what actually is going to happen. And here it has this page cannot be found. That's because with Nuxt, after the first initial hit, every other hit is an SPA hit. So this won't even hit the server. And so that's where it can't find it, didn't even hit the server at all. There's no traffic in the network tab, and just gives you a soft 404. Let's go back and take a look at middleware. So here I just have a very simple hard-coded middleware redirect going from old page 2 to page 2. And so the difference between these is this is actually going to be ran on the client and on the server. The big difference is when you run it on the server, it'll give you an actual HTTP code. Here we have 301, which is a permanent redirect. But on the client, it won't. Let's take a look. So again, I'm going to go to the URL and hit it just as if a robot would. Old page 2. And it works as expected. We hit page 2. So let's go back to this one and take a look at the network tab here. Make sure we got stuff set up. And everything works just fine. Again, this is client-side redirect. You don't see any 301s that had in there. Whereas if you looked at this, here we go, 301, moved permanently. It's already in there. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, why wouldn't I use middleware everywhere for my redirects? And that there's certainly validity to that. But I would encourage you to only do that if you absolutely have to, because what ends up happening is all of those redirect rules you have now are now on client side. And that would really only help you if your app has bad links to it, which it really shouldn't. I would just clean up the bad links and let the code reside on the server side. That way you don't have all that clutter that the client browser actually has to load up. Well, there you go. There's the differences between the two. If you want more information on redirects with Nuxt, why you should do them, different ways you can do it within server middleware, check out the blog post below.